I'm nahshondion, and you're watching TRANSBRATIONS. Today's special guest is a trailblazer. diamondstylz has been one of the long-standing voices of the millennial Black trans community. For a decade, she has used social media platforms like YouTube to archive trans people and events around the globe. Currently, Diamond is the executive director of Black Trans Women, Inc., a national nonprofit that is led by Black trans women focused on social advocacy, positive visibility, and building strong leadership among Black trans advocates, activists, and our allies. Diamond is also the host and producer of Marsha's Plate, a weekly podcast that explores politics and pop culture from a trans pro-Black feminist lens. Marsha's Plate recently hit 1 million all-time listens. Diamond, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So I've known about you for over a decade, probably more than a decade. And like, I just know that you have said, you have said a lot of outrageous things over the past year. And so like, you've always caught my attention. One of the things that stands out specifically is that I remember you used to do some videos, maybe it was just one. You had like a shotgun. You would reference your shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Texan, so you know, we like our guns.
So I take it you still got it.
I do. A couple of them.
Okay. No, you know, well, my family's from Texas, East Texas, and yes, a history of guns and shootouts and a lot of things that just I won't discuss in this episode. So yeah, that you know, I was in Texas one time. I used to frequent Dallas, Texas. This is in my back page, Craigslist Earl days.
Amen.
Right. Thank God. I used to stay at this place in North Forest and Abrams. Okay. And across the street, there would be there was a CVS, a Subway, all kind of stuff. But I never ventured off to this one side because it was a liquor store and a Subway, and I just never went over there. The CVS and other places were directly across from me. One day I was going to the CVS, leaving out, and I saw like 10 Black guys. And I was like, you know, for them hanging outside of a liquor store like that many, that was alarming to me. But you know what was even more alarming?
What?
Girl, that it was peaceful.
Why?
But guess what? That peace didn't last long enough. Somebody started shooting. Somebody hopped their ass into the subway shop, and I was just like, you know, here I am in Texas, and you know, then witnessed the shooting and stuff, and I was just like, you know, this shit just never ends.
It just doesn't.
The gun violence, right? Tell us about what age you started transitioning and how your family and community responded.
Oh gosh, I transitioned when I was 13 years old. It was like 94. So I had an interesting social situation when I was that age. So my mom had got addicted to drugs when I was about 11. At this time of my life was when my mom was going through her very first like bad like addiction spell that I had experienced in my life. And so my grandmother had came to quote unquote rescue us from Boston, Massachusetts. We're originally from Indianapolis, but my mom, following my little brother's father, the love of her life, moved to Boston. And because he was caught up in drugs, she got caught up in drugs. And so my grandmother came to save us. And so moved back to Indianapolis with my grandmother. And we started to try to kind of save my mom. And so my mom came back to live with us, trying to get clean. She never did. It just turned into this ordeal of relapse and da-da-da-da-da-da. So as a 13-year-old, I started to be more of a caretaker of my brothers, more of a caretaker of my grandmother, because my grandmother was old. So my dynamic in the family started to shift, where I was no longer the oldest child, I was like the caretaker. And by the time I got to 13 and I wanted to start doing some of the, you know, dress up like a girl, put girl clothes on, I started to try to play with it, and my grandmother wasn't having it. And my grandmother actually kicked me out and said, you are not going to be in my house with this faggot shit at 13. And so I slept in a car for like a month because I couldn't go back to my grandmother's house. There was a store that was across the street from the car that I was sleeping in, off of 30th and College. His name is Frog, just in case somebody hears this from Indianapolis. He might have passed away because he was older by at this point, but maybe not. He owned a store on the corner of 30th and College, and he called the police, not in a criminal way. He was like, there's a kid out here sleeping in the car, and they need to they need a place to stay. So what's going on? And so the police came and got me and took me to the Guardian home, and I went to a group home. In that process, I was free from the guilt that I may have had if I was living with my mom. Because I was the oldest son, I know if I stayed with her, I would have snuck and did it instead of being open about it, because I would have felt like I was bringing shame to her.
Yeah.
And so because I was in a group home, I don't give a fuck about these white people. I don't give a fuck about these people, these people that's over me. They can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ward of the state. Y'all can't do nothing to me. So because of that dynamic, I was able to start growing my hair out, start getting my nails done, start wearing makeup, clothes get tighter. And so between junior high school and high school, that summer before you go to high school, I started transitioning.
Did you access hormones at that point? Or
no, I did not access hormones because I didn't know how to get them. And at that time, this is a whole different area of time.
You're right.
We didn't have the internet.
Initially, you're from Indianapolis?
Yes.
That's where you started transitioning at?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So was there a trans scene, somewhat of a community?
It was a trans community, but I was too young to know about any of it. And I grew up in the church and in like a culturally Christian household. So my mom was not the church going person, but my aunt took me to church.
I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do. Thank you, Lord. But can I tell somebody under the sound of my voice, if you really want victory today, then you got to shake it off. Come on. Come on. You ain't going to get out of that mood. It's not going to get off your shoulders. Your situation ain't going to change until you shake it off. Shake it off and pat it under your feet. Oh! Feel that? Come on, shake it off, shake it off. And when you feel like you've shaken it all off, then I want you to do what the Bible says. If you want joy, then you ought to leap for it. You ought to leap for it. Woo! Come on, saints. Oh! Man, I feel a breakout in here. I know we gotta move on, but I feel like something about to break off up in here. Oh! If you don't do something different than what you're doing right now, you're gonna stay stuck in the place you at right now. Come on, you ought to make it up in your mind. I'm coming out of this place. I'm coming out of this position. I may cannot fix it, but for me, I'm coming out. 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 And I'm coming out with my hands up. Oh! sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, come on, praise him. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Marsha. My. I feel the Holy Ghost. Hey. Dance, children, dance. This is the year to believe. Dance, children, dance. God is going to set his people free. Dance, children, dance. This is the year to believe. Dance, children, dance. God is going to set his people free. Come on. Dance, children.
Uncles, like my actual cousin is Kiki Wyatt. And if you know her, she's a singer, the
Gospel.
famous singer. Yeah. She's not a gospel, she's an R&B singer, but she grew up singing gospel.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Diamond, is she real high yellow and has like
light skin Kiki Wyatt, yeah.
She has 10 or 11 kids?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly. I know who she is.
Yes. So we all grew up in the Kojic church, you know.
Church of God in Christ.
Yeah, Church of God in Christ. And so, so, you know, that's the culture I come from. So knowing about gay stuff and queer community, I was not connected to that in any kind of way. And 16, when I went to the group home, I found a friend. Now her name is Deja Mirage. She's been on my YouTube channel. She started when I started YouTube. I used to have her on as a guest because she lived with me at the time. But we met each other when we were like 12, 13, and we both transitioned.
Okay.
And so me and her was the only friends that we had, because she was in the group on with me. And so we started to dress up like girls, go to the store and steal clothes, go to the store and steal heels. This is at 13. We would sneak in.
A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
That's what it is.
Right.
And so I didn't have a community as sense of like going to like the neighborhood or gay clubs, but she started me off. And then once we started going different places, we started meeting other queer people. Okay. And then they would tell us about this club. It doesn't exist now, but it used to exist in Indianapolis, called Betty Boop's. And then we would sneak into this club, the Cabaret, which was like a drag club. And then there was this club that was more where all the lesbians went, but everybody went there, but mostly this was the lesbians went, called the 10. And so we would sneak, if certain people, if we knew they were man in the door, we wouldn't get in because we didn't have no ID. But it's certain people that would say, y'all can come in, but y'all can't go buy no drinks. Don't be going to buy no liquor. Just go dance and have fun. And they'll let us just come in and dance and have fun and be gay.
That's good. And you said again, her name is Deja.
Deja. On YouTube, her name is Chak Tai. So yeah, that was between 13 and 16. So one time I was on the bus stop because I worked all my life. So I started working when I was 13 as well. And so they had this little summer program where they put us with different college professors, and they gave us bus passes for the whole 3 months of summer break, and we have to go back and forth and do a couple of hours with them, and we got paid for it, and it was a cute little job. And so I worked for the Indianapolis University in Purdue campus, not far from downtown. So during that time, I was catching the bus a lot because I was going back and forth to work. And on the bus, I was sitting at the bus stop. If you saw me, I was a girl in my mind, but because I wasn't on hormones and I wasn't no physical surgeries or anything, you might have thought that I was just a femme butch queen. But to me, this was my way of being a girl. And so I saw these ladies and they were talking. And as they were talking, I was zoning in on their voice, and they just had some particularly deeper voices. They were particularly flamboyant, and I just was zoning in on them. And they started talking about trans, and they started talking about being transies. Like in our city, people didn't say tranny; they said transies. And so they were talking, and it was a Black cultural thing. Like white girls said tranny, but Black girls said transies. Like I'm transy. They kept saying transy, and because I didn't have the language of trans at the time. I just knew that I wanted to be a girl. And so I was like, I'm being a girl. And so I didn't have the language as far as, so when they kept saying transies, then they start talking about this doctor named Dr. Garfield. I was like, they're talking about stuff. And then they start talking about hormones and how Dr. Garfield gave them hormones. So I am this 16-year-old kid listening to them talk about getting hormones and how it made their breasts grow on the bus stop. Now, they don't know that I'm listening, but there's not many people on the bus stop, so nobody really is hearing their conversation, but they're only talking to each other. And I'm just listening and soaking it up. I went to the white pages. We didn't have Google at the time. We had no white pages. I went to the white pages and I looked up Dr. Garfield, and he was literally only a block away from where I lived at the time. And I set an appointment up with him. He said that his appointment was $35. I was working, so of course I had $35. And I lied to him and said that I was 19. And when I came in, he asked me for my ID. I told him, no, he didn't ask me for my ID. He asked me my name, social security number, and I gave him everything. He wrote me a prescription for Estrace, the
so tell me
estradiol.
Did you ever run into those transies on the bus again?
You know what? If I did, I wouldn't have remembered them because I was scared to look at them. I'm not scared to look at them because they were trans, but scared to look at them so they wouldn't stop talking. I wanted to hear. I see what you're saying. Right. I wanted to hear what they were saying, but I felt like if I was staring at them, they would have stopped talking. I see. And I wanted the information.
Okay.
And so I didn't really, I had like a hoodie on, and I could just hear them. Like they were right there, and I just glanced. And then once I heard them talking about all this tea, I did not want to ruin whatever was
That
happening.
moment.
I didn't want to ruin that moment by being the kids staring at them.
So let me ask you this real quick. Do you think, had that conversation not happened, had you not eavesdropped, had they not been on the bus, had you not eavesdropped on their conversation and heard about Dr. Garfield, do you think your transition would have went the way it went?
I don't think I would have got on hormones as fast because I didn't know where to get them. No, I got on hormones at 16. That's when I started it.
Okay.
And so I probably would have gotten on hormones probably at 18, because by the time I was 18, I was in the scene, baby. I knew, honey, I was going to pump parties, and by the time I was 18, I knew where shit was. But
that pussy was popping.
The popping, baby.
Bitch, why are you mad? Cause my pussy pops severely and yours don't. Bitch, why you mad? Bitch, my pussy, bitch, pop.
So yeah, he got me on. He wrote me a prescription, and it was $52. So I paid $35 and $52 at the CVS across the street. And so I wouldn't have started that until if I wasn't 16. I'm 16 listening to them.
And you didn't have to see a psychiatrist, psychologist?
No.
And how did it make you feel? Were you okay with the side effects?
It made my breasts grow. So I didn't have any
psychological?
Yeah, I didn't have any psychological side effects.
Tell us about your triumphant First Amendment court case win in 1999 while you were in high school, and how it impacted you and started you off as an activist.
Oh gosh. So I have a video on YouTube called The Pisces Season that details the whole story.
Okay.
But the quick version is I was in the class picture. The picture that, you know how at your senior year, the whole class take a whole picture together.
Right.
And I came to the class picture sickening. Now I had been dressing like a girl and being a girl, so this wasn't new. I've been to school for 4 years as Diamond. But this year is because it's the class picture. I came in leopard print, red heels, looking sickening, honey. My titties had grew because I was on hormones since I was 16, 2 years. Right. So I came and
work, honey.
Right. And I had graduated early because I had been emancipated since I was 16, like having my own apartment and everything. Oh, okay. And so by the time I get to 17, at the time that this was happening, honey, I was a full-grown woman, baby. Own apartment, titties popping, hair down to my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I'm right.
Couldn't nobody tell you nothing.
Couldn't tell me nothing. And so I came, but this is the first time that the principal really said anything negative to me. Like she hadn't nobody had addressed me about my clothing choice ever.
About your identity.
Never at my school. There was little snickers and shit, but as far as like stopping me or suspending me, nothing ever like that.
And none of your peers were abusive?
Oh, of course, yes. But I'm talking about like the staff,
administration.
Like the administration. Yeah, I had to fight tons in high school. But
my life, I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy.
None of them had ever like tried to punish me or do anything about my style of dress. And so me coming in there, she told me I needed to get to the second row so they wouldn't see my clothes. That was weird, not only to me, but to my sister and her girlfriends that was around. So when they said 1, 2, 3, you know how they taking the picture, my homegirls in front of me spread open on purpose so they could see my outfit in the picture, regardless if I was in the front row or not. This is the kind of fish that I was cool with.
They was not trying to feature you.
They were not trying to feature the principal, but my homegirls literally moved over so the picture can see me, like be in advocacy of me.
Right.
The principal didn't like that happened. And so right after the class picture, she called me to the office. And so this is 2 days before the prom. So I'm in the office and she asked me to call my parents to bring them to school so they can talk to me about something. I told them that I didn't need to bring my parents to school because I'm emancipated. I'm my own. When you are emancipated legally, you are your own. You're an adult. That was music to her ears because she has nobody to be accountable to but me, the student. And so she says, all right, well, you cannot go to the prom in a gown because that doesn't align with the that's going to disrupt the educational process. And in my mind, I was like, prom isn't educational. Right. What are you talking about? In my mind, I was like, what? Right. And so she made this big deal about it. And I was so livid. I walked out of that office, livid about her doing this to me. She didn't, what people didn't know is that I wasn't going to go to the prom anyway, because my cisgender boyfriend at the time was taking a cisgender girl. And that would have been so heartbreaking to me at the time, you know, in love, high schooler, that kind of stuff. And so I wasn't going to go. I was going to sit home and eat chips and cry. But because she did that, out of pride, I was angry. Like, you don't tell me I can't go. And so I went and told my English teacher. She said, oh, that's fucked up. They're not actually able to do that. And so she slipped me the number. She said, don't tell anybody I gave you this, but she slipped me the number and gave me the number to the ACLU. And the ACLU, Kenneth Falk, who is over ACLU Indiana right now, Kenneth Falk took my case. By that Thursday, he told me to go to the news outlet. Only news outlet took it was NBC. Fox, of course, did not. He told me to go to the news, and then he got me a court date.
Go to court about it. So before we go to court, you know it's Wednesday. So all that happened on Tuesday. Then we got Wednesday and prom, and the court date, the actual go in front of the judge, is on Thursday. So on Wednesday, I had drama practice, so I had to go back up to the school. And so when she sees me in the hallway and we walk past, now she already know that it's been filed because this is Wednesday night. It's already been filed and already been on the news Tuesday night. Clock that. So she sees me in the hallway and she walks past me and looks at me and she says, you know you're going to make yourself look like a fool because you're going to lose. Real childishly attitudey. And this is an old ass black woman. So just attitude. And I looked at her and I was like, well, if I lose, I lose. But if I win, I win. Doo-doo-doo. And I keep going. But it was just so childish for her to catch me in the hallway and just kind of rub, oh, you're going to make yourself look like a fool because you're going to lose. And everybody else was saying that I was going to lose. They all said, you know, this is Indiana. Indiana is not y'all know Indiana ain't the progressive state. It's a Republican country too. It is where fucking the Ku Klux Klan founded. It has a very racist and conservative history in Indiana. So everybody was like, you're gonna lose.
And everybody told me that I was gonna lose, but
all right, so Wednesday come and we go to court and I'm in front of the judge. Luckily for me, the judge who I would have got, which was the conservative Republican judge, was out of town or something. So the Democratic judge, whoever was there, had to take the more lenient, more progressive liberal one, had to take my case. And so they get to asking the dean of students, they get to asking all my teachers, not all of them, but they all subpoenaed them to come to court. And they were asking them questions like, would it be a problem if she dressed like a girl? How long has she been dressing like a girl? And they all had to say her whole 4 years, her whole time. Her whole time being in high school, she has had, she's been like this. He's been like this. That's what they were saying. And so the judge was like, has it ever been a problem? And so they had to bring up situations that I had gotten in a fight. And in high school, I got in 2 fights. And they were like, and you know, he asked the dean of students, do you think that it was because of how she was dressed? And the dean of students says, no, I think they bully her because of her sexuality. I think they bully her because she's gay. They're not saying she, they're saying he. They bully her because he's gay. And I think whatever kind of dress that this person would be in, he would have got bullied. And so that honesty is really what two things won my case, because I won. Him being honest about that, like saying that no matter how she dressed, she was going to get bullied in that time because these are high school students and the gayness is something that you get teased about. But my girlfriends love black women, and Eric, my love, they got a petition from all the students. Now these are Eric was the captain of the football team. Captain of the football team. Prom queen was Tracy. I told y'all about Tracy. That was my best friend, my best female friend, prom queen. So I was a part of a clique of people who were the popular students in the school. And they got a petition from all the other popular students and the some that weren't so popular to say that this would not be something that they would care about. It would not be a problem. A petition from all the students. That's what they did on Wednesday. Petitioning that this would not be a problem. And it was at the court. And the judge had it for my lawyers. That it would not be a problem that I would dress as myself, dress in my truth, and be the girl I'm supposed to be at the prom. So, the judge was like, yeah, I don't see no reason for him to not be able to dress how he wants. So I made history that day, and I got a First Amendment victory for prom. And they use, and all these popular ones, all these popular ones in Mississippi and other places, as far as going to the prom in a dress and going to the prom as your gender identity, all those cases used my case as the precedent to win them. So that's something that I am so proud of. And I was only 17 years old. And it's on the books right now. I was in magazines. It's just a lot of stuff that I was a part of at the time. And I was so proud of myself, but it was an accident. I came out, it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. I did it out of childish pride. Like, I wasn't even gonna go to the prom. If she would have just shut up, like if she wouldn't have said it.
But by the end of the trial, I won and sued them to go to the prom.
Oh, because that picture was taken. What was the time frame? What was the time frame when she pulled you to the side and told you that you couldn't go, and then prom?
Tuesday, Thursday.
That quick, that with that small time, that.
Yep, he forced it. He put in a motion to force them to bring it fast so I can go to the prom. They were trying not to get to the point where they could stop me. They were trying to make it to where they are forced to let me go to the prom. That's what they were trying to do. They made it an emergency court case. And so that's what they did. And so I went to court on Thursday morning, and they said that they won the case. A Thursday night, I was at the prom.
So are there pictures online that I'll be able to see or something?
There's video. I was featured on this year's Pride, on Pride to be Seen on Hulu. My name is diamondstylz. I am the executive director of Black Trans Women's Inc. We do work around homelessness, around anti-violence. 40% of homeless youth are LGBT. Because it actually was a trans woman that got murdered. Firsthand, I definitely know it can lead to sex work, drugs. It can lead to you living with people that are unsafe.
Diamond was assigned male at birth, but began identifying as female when she was 13.
And were you diamondstylz in high school?
Yes, I was at the time living in a group home, and I had just a little bit more freedom. Nobody really said anything, and so they just let me be who I was.
Until the day they said you can't wear a gown to the prom.
The audacity of it really just fueled me. And so my English teacher slid me a piece of paper with the ACLU's number on it, and they took my case pro bono.
I have my rights. I have the right to do what I want to do.
And
you won.
I won. They were telling me, this is in conservative Indiana. You're gonna lose. I didn't lose. I won. It sparked something in me that led to who I am today.
Diamond went on to earn a college degree. At 41, she also hosts a popular weekly podcast.
Welcome to Marsha's Plate, a Black trans inclusive feminist podcast.
I heard that you called Marsha's Plate after Marsha P. Johnson.
Absolutely. Marsha B. Johnson is a Black trans femme who was a part of the rebellion that happened here at Stonewall. And so to give a little nod to her, gone are the days where we have to be ashamed of who we are and what we are. I've been passed the torch from all of the people who came before me. If I can be free to do what I want to do, you can be free to do what you want.
And so did you see your boyfriend there too?
Yes, I did.
You didn't cry, did you?
No, not at all. I was too busy happy that I won my case. I wasn't even paying attention to him.
Right. And did you have an after prom too?
No.
I know some people, my school had an after prom, so I don't know if that's the norm for other places.
No, it was so much news and people picketing in favor of me, not against me, in favor of me. Because you got to understand, I have been to this school for 4 years, winning awards. I'm a singer. So winning awards for the school, being a part of clubs. So all the parents loved me. And so when I won the case, parents were down at the prom station with signs saying, leave her alone. Some of them saying, leave him alone. Leave Diamond alone, or my old name alone. They were basically in support of me.
Right.
And
the majority were in support of you.
I don't want to say the majority, but enough to where I couldn't, I don't know. I can't gauge who was and who wasn't, but I know that there was a ton of, when I got out of my car in my dress, there was a ton of parents with signs saying, leave her alone.
Were any of your family present?
None of my family was present.
No. Okay. Okay. A victory I'm very proud of, because presenting who you are on the inside and out is so important to anyone hoping to become an authentic presence in the world.
Yeah. Fact. You gotta be able to be yourself and be authentic and not trying to be somebody else. So many people walk through life trying to be somebody else, or live up to a standard for their parents, for their church, for their whatever, for other men or other women. I just didn't ever want to be that. I wanted to be who I was.
Right. And it often causes a lot of turmoil and pain. And unfortunately, you have some people who, and nothing to do with being trans or even gay, just being a human and a person. Some people decide to end up taking their lives because they don't know, they don't want to let people down, or they don't realize that you actually have the freedom, and it's your birthright to live your life, to make your own. You have the freedom to make your own choices, to
your birthright,
to worship and believe what religion you want to, God you want to work. Like, that's your birthright. Like, you don't have to let your culture or your community dictate your life.
Facts.
Unfortunately, as so many people do. That pretty much started you off as an activist.
Yes, that was my first taste of, oh my God, I can win. Because everybody told me I would lose.
Oh.
Everybody.
But not the ACLU.
Not the ACLU. They said, we got your back. Let's try to see. And I'm glad they did.
And so that lawsuit, that was only to allow you to go. It wasn't anything to do with any financial compensation.
No. It was to allow Sue to go. And they could use that case, which they did, as a precedent in other Indiana cases, which they did.
Wow. Okay.
So I popped the principal by winning, and she was mad, bitch.
Why are you mad? Because my pussy pops severely and yours
Anyway, so how does all that tie into love? Fast forward to a month later when graduation happens. So anybody who know how high school graduations work, the girls wear a certain color gown and the boys wear a certain color gown. So that's how she popped me. This is how she got her revenge, right? So the girls wore a gold one, and the boys wore a black one. So now it's time for me to go get my cap and gown, right? So I go down there and I'm like, oh, well, I need the gold one. And she's down in the bookstore. This bitch ain't never been in the bookstore. was down in the bookstore just waiting for me to come in. Once she saw me there to get my cap and gown, she went down there specifically to make sure a bitch got a black cap and gown and not a gold one like the girls.
I'm being real with you because I heard about you. I was waiting on you at the door.
So I couldn't take her ass to court. It was because we were in rehearsal. It was like no time to go through any games of foolishness. You either gonna wear this black cap and gown like the boys, or you're not gonna walk across my stage. So what you gonna do? So, okay, bitch. I'm gonna wear this black cap and gown. I called my Aunt Jo and I told her what was happening. But it's cool. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go get me a gold outfit. I'm gonna get some gold accessories. You gonna know a bitch is gold in this motherfucker under this fucking, and some gold heels. I'm gonna be gold regardless if you tried or not. So, you know, boys come in through the auditorium, girls come in through the auditorium, and we come up on the stage and da-da-da-da-da, and they already got us in order and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, I don't know how y'all auditorium is, but when our auditorium, when you go through the doors, there's some wind that comes in and blows you. Bitch, I unzipped that gown and had my sickening black and gold outfit under, and when I opened up the door and it blew the cape back like a fucking sickening cape, bitch. And it blew and I tipped down the aisle. Everybody in that motherfucking auditorium got up and said, yes! Clapping and hollering and just getting their life. So much so, I tipped past the valedictorian. Her name is Marquita Berry. She said, bitch, you already took all the shine from the prom. Don't try to take all the shine now during the graduation. And she gave me a hug because she just saying it jokingly. And I was on the boys' side in my little black gown, sickening, blah, 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 blah. So everybody screamed and hollered in happiness and confirmation. Now, the sad part, remember, I'm a Pisces, stuff. When stuff is going up, it's always something going down. At my high school graduation, nobody that was a loved one of mine came to my graduation. Nobody. Friend or family. So my best friend didn't come. Both of them, any of them. None of them. Not one. None of my family came. My mother, my grandmother, my father, my stepdad, my great aunt. Nobody came to my graduation. So it was a sad moment being at my graduation because nobody was there to support me. And it even to this day, it kind of hurt. It hurts my feelings that nobody was there, and I worked so hard to graduate. Through the bullying, through everything that I went through in high school. And I still fucking graduated. And with nobody there. So, whoo. But fuck it. When I came through that door, even though that bitch was still fucking with me.
Because that shit you poured in the kitchen, I should have fucked you up. But I let you walk away, and I let you come get yourself together. But bitch, I'm gonna let you know if you ever pour that shit on me again, that will be your last motherfucking day standing. I promise you that.
Even though she still was fucking with me by making me wear that fucking black gown. When I walked through that door and then everybody in the crowd, the parents and the kids stood up and cheered for me. It took everything that I was worried about, everything that I was sad about people not being there, it took everything away. I was that bitch in that moment. I was that bitch in that moment. When she called my name for me to go, you know how they call everybody's name in alphabetical order, for me to come up and get my diploma out of her hand, went up and grabbed my diploma and rolled my eyes and tipped, and everybody hollered again. Everybody hollered again. And like even the niggas was cool. Like even the dudes, the females, everybody. And it just was a magical moment.
At age 19, what was your experience like being the first openly transgender woman to attend Jackson State University?
Oh gosh, it was a learning process. It was a learning process. There was horrible parts. You know, it ranged from small things like people not wanting to sit by me in the cafeteria to people trying to throw boiling hot water on me just to harm me for no reason other than me being trans.
Diamond, did some of those folks know you from, what was the name of the high school you went to?
No, they didn't. Now, this is a whole different state. Arlington.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Okay. And this is, well, yeah, conservative.
Yeah, conservative Mississippi.
Oh, were they, wait, no, but this was a HBCU, so this is African-American Black.
Conservative Mississippi.
And they were hostile.
Yeah, tons of, you know, Black folks is conservative.
Trust me, I know. How did you deal with the physical threats of violence and someone trying to throw hot water on you?
Oh gosh, part of it is just luck. Shit didn't work out the way they thought it was going to work out. Now, I did get in 2 fights while I was in college. The hot water situation, they knocked on my door and thought that I was just going to open it up. And so basically 2 guys, one knocked on the door and two were holding this big pot of boiling water. And when I opened the door, they doused it like this, like just doused it. And they thought that I was just going to open the door, but I didn't. I just cracked it and all the water spilled on the door. And it was so hot that a cloud of steam came up into my room, into the hallway, everything. That's how hot it was.
And did they say anything?
They just ran. Once they see that it didn't work, they just ran.
Were they on? Were there cameras in the hallway? Were they caught on camera?
No, there was no cameras in the hallway. Not back then. It was cameras in the stairwell, but not in the actual hallway where you live. For some reason, that was against the policy to have cameras where we lived at.
Mm-hmm. I have to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas.
Yeah. It was. But let me tell you how I handled it. Once people had been doing stuff, but once it had went that far, I knew from my high school years that I gotta beat some ass, because in high school, when I would beat some ass, shit would stop. Mm-hmm. And so I went downstairs and I got this, it wasn't a pitchfork, it was a it wasn't a pitchfork. It was.
Imagine you with the pitchfork though, but go ahead.
Yes. It was, what it was is, you know, those industrial mops that used to be like in school, like janitors used to have them.
That real heavy,
really, really heavy, but they had like a metal thing that held the mop head. So it used to be like a metal thing on the end of the mop, and they would change the mop, but the metal thing would be the same. It was connected to like a broomstick, but it's a metal. But the mop head was off, so it looks like a pitchfork, but not really. It's like this. It just had this metal thing. I grabbed that thing out of the janitor's closet and went back upstairs and took the thing and knocked on everybody's door on my floor. Come the fuck up out of here. Boom, 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 knocking on the door, making them get up and come out. I said, look, if y'all got a problem with me, show me the fuck now. Do not do stuff sneaky. If you want me to be a man, you be a motherfucking man too, and show me in my face you want to hurt me. Do it now while I can see you, and not be a bitch trying to sneak and do shit behind my back and harm me. If you want to harm me in my face right now, because you bitches is not gonna fucking do anything to me. So let's fight right now and get it over with. Because you want me to be a man, I'm gonna act like a man and be violent, because you trying to harm me behind my back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And everybody was silent. And one of the dudes says, that motherfucker just hold all of y'all. Meaning that I punked him. He said, because y'all have been sneaking and doing stuff behind this person's back. And now that when she called y'all out, y'all silent. Leave her alone. She proved to y'all she don't give a fuck about y'all. And if he said, if any of y'all say something to her after this, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna fight her. I'm gonna fight y'all with her. Because she just let y'all know y'all not fucking men. Because if y'all wanted to do something, y'all could do it right now. This is what he was saying.
Yeah, that's and you see, yeah, I mean that is some real punk shit. As they call it, that's some real punk shit.
Yes.
So this part I'm gonna play that song. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out.
Bring them out, bring them out.
I mean, I've had things happen. I'm not gonna go into detail, but that's just like, I mean, and not just trans. I mean, things happen to women, things happen to men, but just that type of behavior. You're there to get your education. You're minding your business. Being respectful. And then people, racism, whatever, just don't like a person for their identity and the things they do.
The irony of the situation, when I went back in my room, that once I called everybody out and nobody was trying to fight, because I actually called a particular boy out. I said it to everybody, but once that boy had said what he said, I said, and his name was Charles Butler. I said, and you are one of the main ones. I see you calling me faggots. I see you calling me he, she's. So I really want to fight you. So let's do this shit right now in front of everybody. If you beat my ass, cool.
So you had an idea who I had an idea
who it was, because he was just one of the ones that throughout, he would say little slick stuff. He just had a bunch of mouth. He's laughing, all this kind of stuff. So I wanted to fight him anyway. So let's go. If you beat my ass, you beat my ass. But if I beat your ass, let's go. Yeah, that's what it was. Because you got more to lose than me. Because everybody think you can beat my ass because I'm the faggot.
Right. Yeah.
But if I beat your ass, your whole reputation for the rest of this school year, for the rest of the time you at this school, is over. So
you
let's
gotta go to another university.
Yes, show me you got them hands. Show me you a man. Since you want me to since you think I'm a man, treat me like a man. Show me. So yeah, it started off like that, but over time, it got a little bit better. It got, it just got better because people started to respect me, because after I did that, everybody started to, not almost say everybody,
you stood your ground.
Stood my ground, and it got I got a little bit of respect.
You stood your ground as a person.
Yeah. And so it just started to be better. What I was going to say, the irony of that situation is when I went back into my room, what people didn't know is the water that had spilled, the boiling water had poured into my room, and it was being sucked up by letters and papers and torn off papers of men telling me how much they loved me, how much they were attracted to me, how much they wanted me to suck their dick, how much all this. It ranged from being sweet gentleman love to gutter bucket nasty shit. So these same dudes that were trying to harm me, they were sliding notes under my door talking about, ooh, call me, my room is da-da-da-da-da, I want you to suck my dick. Ooh, call me, I don't know why they treat you like this.
Girl, this is too much tea, honey. This is too much tea, girl.
So these same dudes that were letting these people harass me and harm me were sneaking and trying to have me. And so
I hear it seems as if this is often the case, that the men who are the most anti-gay or anti-trans tend to be the ones, the irony of it, attracted to us.
But because you can't have that much hate and not have it internally. I don't care what nobody say. You can't have that, because people, if you a man and you like women, who cares? Because you got less competition.
Well, not only that, Diamond, not only that, you're not gonna make a trans or a gay male, or you're not gonna make somebody that you supposedly hate the focus of your attention.
No, not at all.
Right? Yeah. That's great. Like honey, you got real passionate about that story. You got real. I hope you okay. You need some water?
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
Okay. In that same place of hostility, I learned that I was also a beacon of light for individuals who wanted to stand outside the box and be themselves at the intersection of race and gender.
Facts. Because while I was having this harsh stuff happening to me, it was queer people saying, I am so glad that you're here. I was scared to come to this school. I was scared to be out. And you are just a beacon of light that I can just be myself. I just became friends with so many people, queer women, queer men, even some of them now they have transitioned. They didn't transition while I was at school, but it's a bunch of butch queens that I went to school with that have transitioned now, and they have met me years later saying, you were the one who let me know that I could do this.
So they ain't no longer no butch queens in drag.
Right. Now I'm a woman, girl, because of you.
The more transies.
Yeah, more transies.
More transies.
The category is butch queen, first time in drags at a ball.
You know what I mean.
You know what Paris means.
Exactly. Butch queen.
Butch queen.
Butch queen.
Butch queen.
First time in drags at a ball. That's what I want to do.
Let me ask you this. What made, okay, so you knew it was a conservative school, historically, HBCU. Why did you choose that school, knowing, like...
That's a great question. So I didn't want to get into that because I didn't want it to be a long answer.
Oh, okay.
But
could you give it to us in a minute?
But the quick minute is I actually had moved to Mississippi, Walnut Grove, Mississippi, with my family, with my mom. She had gotten clean, and so in order for me to have a place to stay, I had to move back with my mom because I had got fired for being trans at my job when I was 18, when I graduated from high school. And so I didn't have a place to go. This was when I was 18, like right after I graduated, when I had my own apartment.
What job was that?
Oh, rallies. And so I moved to Mississippi with my mom because she was clean. And we were in Walnut Grove, Mississippi, which is a rural town in central Mississippi. And I was so cultural shocked because of the amount of racism, because of the backwards vibe of rural Mississippi in 1999. I said, the only way that I can get up out of here is if I go to school. And the closest city was Jackson. And I wanted to go to a Black school. And so Jackson was it.
And you had also said that people would drive out of town just to stare at you.
Drive out of town just to stare at me?
She recalls people driving out from town just to stare at her. And do you recall people driving out of town just to stare at you?
Oh, driving into town. So they would drive into the campus just to look at me. Like people had heard about me in different places, and I was the first trans person there. So they literally would drive up and say, yeah, I heard about you.
I'm being real with you because I heard about you. I was waiting on you at the door.
Even a trans girl, she had been at Jackson State in 1996, but she was a boy at the time, and she got brutally attacked, and had to leave school because she was queer. Wow. And she literally came back from Chicago. Her name is Nautica Hinton. Nautica, she came back from Chicago just to meet me.
How did that make you feel, knowing that people were that curious and interested and wanted to like physically see you?
I don't know. It was strange. It was like, is it this serious? Like in my mind, it was strange, but part of it was good because part of it was positive. Like people were like, "Oh, I'm just so proud of you, and you're a beacon of light." And then some of it was just, "Oh, you're a freak," and I wanted to see the freak.
You didn't graduate from there.
I dropped out because my mom went to prison.
Your mom went to prison, and you went to take care of your young brother.
Yep.
And then so later on, at some point, you started working for Hewlett-Packard.
Yes. So when I dropped out of college to go take care of my brother, I was in Indianapolis. And my job that I got to take care of my brother was at an assembly line plant that built computers at Hewlett-Packard in Indianapolis.
And is that when you started sex work?
No, I hadn't started sex work yet. I still was a bougie church girl.
I'm sorry.
In my brain.
I'm sorry, that was a little earlier. So, and with that money coming in, you were able to do
we were able to get a house. I was able to get a house, and me and my brother moved into it, and it was all good. But then at Hewlett Packard, I got fired for being trans. Once I had a cousin who told my tea. I was at that job for like 3 months and nobody knew I was trans. And then my cousin, for whatever reason, I hate to blame everything on jealousy, but I don't know what other reason she would do it. And basically what was told to me was a guy was talking about how beautiful I was and saying I was a beautiful woman. And my cousin was like, that's not no motherfucking woman. So to me, it felt like jealousy. So she was like, I that is my cousin and that's a boy. And so that came out and it led to people harassing me, people making jokes, people being weird. And then the boss told me that because I was causing so many problems, it would be easier to get rid of me than to get rid of the other people. And so he got rid of me.
Your cousin worked there too? Oh, wow. Wow. Did she ever apologize for?
No. Because she felt like she was telling the truth. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Because I asked her.
Sounds like jealousy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm telling the truth. So anyway, it put me in a situation where I didn't have any money. And that's how I got in sex work.
The money that you were making from sex work, did you use any of that money to make more changes to your physical appearance and everything?
Absolutely. I was making more money than I had ever experienced making. I'm talking about, like 3,500 to 5,000 in a weekend. And so I had never made that much money. So of course I was going to Mexico.
Big mama thing.
Big mama thing, baby. Going to Mexico, getting pumped.
Did you go to Dr. Molina?
I did go to Dr. Molina.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So real quick, because I don't know if he's still alive, but I went to him too.
He's not.
When did he pass?
A couple of years ago.
Wow. I just had a surgeon on, Dr. Shokrian, who's based here in New York. He does a lot of the girls and stuff, a lot of trans in the community. And we were talking about silicone, bad silicone. I forgot because, some of the girls get silicone in their hands, not just not just faces, but I knew girls who would get it in their hands and stuff to make the hands even more plumper and stuff, to soften the hands. Yeah.
Wow.
That I know of. I haven't heard of any, because I know other trans who went with me and who were going at the time. I don't know of anyone who's had complications from their silicone.
Not at all. My shit is soft. It's beautiful. No discoloration. It's just, I love it.
And that's what it took me a while to get comfortable and to go, because I was just like, but I knew he had a reputation, and I knew from what my understanding, his father had taught him how to do it. But I just it's one of those things where, and I know it wasn't industrial, it was medical grade.
Yeah.
And I know also with the silicone, if you have silicone injected into you, it's supposed to be the same type of silicone.
I know some people who have different types, but
really?
Yeah.
Well, and I know it's not supposed to. I know it's not supposed to be fix a flat. I know it's not supposed. I know it's not supposed to be fix a flat. I know it's not supposed to be no cement.
No, but there is an industrial grade silicone and an and a medical grade silicone. And industrial grade is just a little bit thicker than the medical grade. And so I know some people with some industrial grade that their body looks good. The only ones that look bad is if they went and got like some Flix Flack or some crazy shit like that. But there is an industrial grade silicone.
Industrial. Can I ask you a personal question? You don't have to answer it. Did you only go to Molina, or did you go to other places and people too?
So I went to 3 people, and I'm so glad that the first one, I didn't have enough money. So when I was in college and I didn't have enough money, I was working a work study job. College financially was bad. Literally washing my clothes in the sink late at night in the dorm room. I went to this girl named Tracy Morris, and literally, if you look her up, Tracy Morris went to prison in Mississippi because she killed a cis woman with her silicone. And I went to her to get my face done, and I went to her to get my chest done, but I only had a little bit of money. So she was really, really stingy with her silicone. So I only have a little bit of her silicone in me. And when I went and got my FFS, my doctor took it out.
Scraped it out.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm glad that I didn't have enough money because I would have went to her more often and would have got that bad.
Tracy Lynn Gardner is heading to prison for life. A jury convicted Gardner for Karima Gordon's death in 2012. Gordon died from a blood clot just days after Gardner gave her those injections. The jury found her guilty Friday for depraved heart murder and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Gordon's sister is pleased Gardner got that maximum sentence today.
We are relieved that this happened, and we wish we would have our sister back. However, since that cannot happen, the verdict of life in jail is just what we needed to hear today.
Gordon's family plans to establish a foundation in her name to educate other women about the dangers of illegal butt injections.
But once I found Dr. Milena,
legendary, honey.
Yeah, he's legendary. And I was like, I'm never going to go to anybody else because
got all the girls together.
Yeah, not only are you giving me this soft work, you're doing it with anesthesia. You're doing it with where I don't feel it.
Oh, Dr. Milena.
With Dr. Milena. Yeah, he's doing it with medical anesthesia, lidocaine and everything. So
right. That's why after I went once, I felt comfortable. I remember going down there one time, going back through the border or whatever, and they say, oh, because after a while you start to have your passport. They say, oh, what were you here for and stuff? We lie and say we're there for the dentist or whatever. But girl, one time I was in that line waiting to get back through the border, honey, and it was a shootout inside the inside the custom. had to drive like an hour away to another border.
I'm an old head, so I never went during the time that you needed a passport.
That was like I started going in 2007, 2008. Last time I was down there was like 10 years ago in 2012.
Yeah, I started going in 2003.
Oh, okay. So no. Well,
we didn't need a passport at all.
When I initially started going,
your birth certificate. All you needed was your birth certificate.
For what? To
come across the border.
Well, initially when I started going, I didn't need anything. I guess maybe just an ID or whatever.
Oh no! Just because of immigration, when I needed you needed to be able to prove that you were American-born citizen. All I needed was birth certificate.
Okay, because you're in Texas. You were going to the Texas border?
No, I was going through Tijuana.
Oh, you would go to California and go that way?
Yeah, because it was quick.
It was quicker that way. Okay, you're right.
And we can prostitute. We can prostitute in San Diego and get you a hotel and work until you go get pumped and then come back and rest.
Right. Sell a little.
Honey, might as well make some money.
Take care of some leisure activities. Right, that part. Could you have accomplished the things you did within the time frame that you did if you had not been a sex worker?
Hell no. No, nowhere near.
What was your favorite website?
Eros.
Eros was fierce. I liked Backpage.
Eros always made me money.
I liked Backpage because Backpage is crazy because you could post it and honey, that phone would be ringing for the next hour guaranteed, honey.
But they were cheap. That's the only reason I didn't like Craigslist. You can make quick money, but you couldn't make the $400 or $500 you can make on Eros.
No. Eros had the guys who were willing to pay. Yeah.
Dude, Craigslist, I could easily get 150, but I couldn't get my 250, 300, 500. I couldn't get that. So I didn't like it.
Did you work in LA a lot often or?
I worked in LA probably a few times. I didn't really make no money in LA.
Did Uncle Eddie ever call you?
Oh, child, I don't remember none of their names. I ain't escorted since 2009.
No, when I say Uncle Eddie, there's only one Uncle. There's only one Uncle Eddie, honey.
Eddie Murphy. No, yeah. I don't have no stories about Eddie Murphy.
The majority of girls, well, not majority of girls, but a lot of the girls in Southern California, our community, we do. So
okay, yeah. I do not.
Okay, after you got out of sex work, you transitioned out of that, and then you had some financial issues. Why did you stop?
Why did I stop escorting?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be escorted anymore. I had graduated. I went back to school and got my degree, and I didn't want to escort anymore. It wasn't lucrative. So I stopped escorting. So this was in the middle of the recession. You remember in 2008, coins had dried up. It was a bunch for me. It was a bunch of shit going on that was making coins dry up. They started changing what was happening with Craigslist. Girls was able to flag you.
Oh,
You remember?
those
It was
bitches
a
were
time.
so evil. They were
Yes.
evil.
So you
Evil.
couldn't make the money that you used to make.
Girl, the shade of it all.
It just was bad. It just started to be bad. A lot of shit was blocking the coins that was coming in, and just the economy. Clients wasn't coming as frequently. So it got to the point where I wasn't one of them girls that wanted to take my rate down. Like, I didn't want to deal with men that I didn't want to deal with for no little chump change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and got a job and started working at Continental Airport. I mean, at the Houston Airport here for Continental. Yeah, I went and got a job. I couldn't deal with I'm gonna
real quick, the I mean, life is competition and stuff, but it was just so like, I'm the kind of person, I sit back and I do my thing. The amount of stuff that I would have coming my way at times, I would just be blown away, because I would just be like, you know what? I'm still gonna work. I'm still gonna I'm still gonna be successful, regardless of what these people do, because at the end of the day, like, I didn't have to be doing any of it. I was getting unemployment. I had other sources of income. Like, I had
I did not.
I had a real professional life, but regardless of that, some of the things that they would do, I would just be blown. I would be like, there's some like just the amount of the amount of shadiness that comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a thick skin or whatever, it's enough to really like make a person, I don't want to say snap, but
yeah,
you have to really I don't know.
You gotta have a thick skin. You gotta be strong.
It was a lot, because
it doesn't matter, because I got a whole lot of stuff to do, and anybody can tell that you're not enjoying your trip.
It's your trip I'm not enjoying.
You know what, Brian? You'll never change. I've been hearing that same crap from you ever since we met. Why the hell did you come here anyway?
See a girl named Tracy Chambers? I guess I just found a different person.
You sure did. You know what you found? You found a success, Brian. I'm a success, and you can't stand it. Me, mahogany.
Well, you may think you're a success, baby, but you're all alone.
Are you kidding? Did you see those people? They love me. They all love me. The men love me. The women love me. Mahogany.
They don't love you. They love some kind of cartoon character that madman made up in his sleep. Freak of the month. That's what they love.
Freak.
Tracy, look, if you stay here, you're in for a lot of trouble.
The only trouble I've ever had, Brian, is from you. You come limping over here saying, Tracy, I love you. I need you. Sure you need me. You want to know why? Because I'm a winner. I'm a winner, baby. These people love me, and you can't stand it, because nobody loves you.
Oh. I thought somebody did.
Well, nobody does, and you want to know why? You want to know why? Because you a loser. You're a loser! And I'm gonna be bigger even. I'm gonna be a bigger success than you can ever see. How do you like that?
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with. If you ever become Tracy Chambers again, you'll know where I'll be.
Go on, get out of here with your goddamn philosophies and your judgments. Who the hell do you think you are? You're a loser, Brian. You ain't shit. And I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. You're a goddamn loser. And I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
fuck, God damn
It's
it.
interesting. I mean, this was before I started transitioning. I had an associate. She had already transitioned. She kind of turned me on to arrows and all some other stuff. But she started seeing how much money I would be making and everything, and she would be gagging and stuff because I didn't have anything really done to my body at that time. And I would take the wig on, take it off. So I was really just a queen, just a transvestite crossdresser. But she would
that's
be gagging.
a fetish. That's a fetish.
Right.
Just as much as the quote unquote fishy girls are fetishized, the more masculine girls are too. Like you learn in the business that clients like there's different types of clients. Right. Some clients like the more masculine girls just in a wig, and some clients like the girls who are more feminine.
Exactly.
It's a market for everybody.
And for me, I was just primarily offering erotic massages because there wasn't going to be all that extra stuff. And of course, they would call and ask all kind of questions, the questions. And it gets so irritating because it just completely and totally reduced you to an object. And, it was a lot dealing with all that, but you learn so much about human nature, sexuality, people, their desires. It
validated me, if I'm to be honest. It validated who I am. Not because of look, I tell people this a lot. I've told people this a lot. Clients made me feel like a woman before the world did. Okay. Like I remember when I transitioned early on, everybody was like, oh, you're not gonna look like no woman, you're not gonna be feminine enough, people are gonna be able to tell you're a man, you're too tall, because I was 5'11", you're too tall, you too just whatever flaw that they could hone in on, they would make it seem like I was gonna be the most ugliest woman in the world.
And socking
it to me. And this was the world, this was my family, this was other people in the community trying to be shady.
Diamond, can I say it again? Niggas.
Girl,
the shade of it all.
And it was what it was. But what let me know that you bitches lying,
right?
Is if a man is coming to spend a stack, flying me out to Florida, flying me to New York, flying me to yeah, men, y'all can say what y'all want. They'll do that to anybody, but they were doing it for me. And so if I'm good enough for them to do it, spend their or men don't spend their hard-earned money on shit that they don't like. And so they like period. And so they like what I had going on. And honey, anytime I got some new enhancement, my titties got a little bit bigger, my ass got a little bit bigger, whatever, they was letting me know, ooh, baby, you look so curvy, you look so sexy, you look so soft. Ooh, they were letting me know and making me feel good.
Just make me feel good. Just make me feel
transferred to my real life because I was no longer letting dudes.
They were doing a thorough examination.
Bam.
Bam, so wham! Bam, bring it back, ow, ow! Bam, bam, so wham! Bam, bring it tight, tight, ow! Right side, work side, right side, right side, oh, right side, work side, right side, work side,
no longer letting dudes, hood niggas that I used to date because it was affirming. I was no longer letting them fuck with me without no fucking money. Because it used to be I'm just doing it just because I'm trying to get some attention. Now, honey, you ain't got no money.
Show some appreciation.
Yeah. And so it validated me before, it helped me start to believe in myself and believe in my own beauty.
It boosted your confidence and boost your self-esteem. Yeah. A lot of people do make it seem like it's dirty and you're selling yourself. You're selling your body and all this stuff. And little do they know, you have no idea of how the exchange actually works.
Not at all.
And for the most part, I mean, my interactions and stuff were pretty much all respectful. Probably out of a decade, I only had to call the police once. This was because somebody came over and they wanted some other stuff that was not on the menu and they were a little intoxicated and I had to put them out.
Yeah.
I had to, and I had never did that, but I was like, they were acting, they had to leave.
Yeah.
So that's another story.
Get the fuck